Okay, so I will start my session with little introduction about me. I've shared my screen. Uh, I hope my audio and my screen is clear to all of you.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much, Smita, for the confirmation, and thank you for having me here today for this session. So, little bit about me, as Smita mentioned, I'm Dr. Abhilasha Vyas. I'm a Microsoft certified trainer, and I have a couple of certifications to understand security services provided by Microsoft, which includes all SC series certifications plus certifications which talks about infrastructure security. So I have also cleared the certification that is AZ 500, and little bit I know about the Power series also because I need to understand the security which we are offering to the Power users as well. And I am active speaker on various platforms and also getting opportunity to motivate other women to come in this field. And that's my passion and that's what I want to do. What knowledge I have, I want to share with everybody and want to promote women to come in this technology area, specifically in the security area. So that's about me. And I want to know about my participants also. So I have created one Mentimeter small quiz. So I'm going to share a link with you in the chat and let me know if you're able to join that. Yeah, I'm sharing this link with you in the chat now. Yeah, so this is a link and I'm going to share my screen once again so that you all can see that, yeah. So once you open this link, which I've shared with you, you will be seeing this screen. And I want to know that you all are from pink background. You are all beginners. Are you working on Azure AD? Okay. Thank you everyone for responding on this. Okay, we have intermediate people also. Very nice. Okay. It's always good to have a mixed audience when you are presenting any topic so that the interaction and discussion will be more. Very nice. Thank you so much for your responses. Okay. So if you refresh it, you will see the next question. Yeah. So what's your expectation from this session? This session talks about privilege identity management. So since I see the mixed responses that we have beginners and expert, so what you are expecting from this session? Do you need only the concept knowledge or you want to see the actual working? You want me to create some kind of PIM roles, assign those roles to the users? Okay, to learn more about Azure AD. Okay, so Azure AD is having a lot of features in that. Take away some practical aspects and be explained same to a colleague in office. Very nice concepts and applications, practical knowledge on prim roles, understanding identity management. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your expectations. More information about Azure AD. Okay, case studies you want to see. Okay, okay. Anyone else want to add? Okay, understand concepts of security in Azure AD. Okay, okay. So, thank you all for sharing your responses. I'll take you back and I will share one more slide which I prepared. So this I'm taking like few minutes, a few moments to understand you all so that my session will be based on your expectation. And because on Saturday evening, when we all are gathered today, we all should be getting some benefit from this. So I'm sharing one more slide with you all and sharing this link once again in the chat. So this is a new link which I'm sharing. I'm sharing my screen once again. So this is, I want to understand that how many of you are aware about these terminologies? Very nice. Very nice. Because these are the concepts which are relating that why these kind of services are there, why we need PIM kind of services. Okay. 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 So again, we have a mix balance. Perfect. Okay. Anyone else is left with the response? Okay, sure. Okay. So more yes are coming, but I have uh, one response where you need me to talk about that. So I'll also talk uh, in a way that I will be able to satisfy the expectation of these four and this one. So 5 and 7, maybe if they want to contribute anything, they can add on the points in the chat as well. Okay. So now let's move to the topic. And I really appreciate that you all have interactively participated and helped me in understanding the audience to whom I'm delivering the session. Okay, I'm sharing a whiteboard, so let me know if you are able to see this. Okay, so I hope that it is visible now because earlier
Yes.
screens were also visible. Yeah. Okay, so thank you so much. Yeah. So today we are going to talk about PIM, that is known as Privileged Identity Management. Now, before directly jumping to this topic and to understand more what's there in PIM, first let's understand that what Azure AD is giving to us. So Azure AD is, if you want to explain it in a single term, it is providing us a services to manage identity and access. Now here the question is, what kind of identities we are creating, managing, and what kind of access we are talking about. So the first I am taking is identity. So if we talk about identities, which we can manage with Azure AD, I have seen that few expectations related to Azure AD to know more about Azure AD. So for that, I think we can have a separate session because PIM itself is a service which need a lot of discussion. So I'm not deviating from the topic, but just want to give you a little idea that what we can do or what kind of capabilities are coming with Azure AD. We can manage identities and what kind of identities we can manage with Azure Active Directory. So we can have cloud identities, which we are registering with Azure AD. We can have synchronized identities. You already have an on-prem setup. So from on-prem setup, you can synchronize your identities to Azure AD. And for this synchronization, again, we have a service that is Active Directory Connect, Azure Active Directory Connect, that is known as AD Connect. So we can use that service to synchronize the identities. So here we have an option to manage the identities which are cloud identities or the identities which are synchronized identities. Now, the third option, which we can manage with Azure AD, is the identities which are external to my organization. Now, what it means is you're working on a project and then you have to have some people, those who are coming as a contractor, or you are partnering with some other organization. So then you have to give some permissions to these users so that they can work in your own infrastructure. But that time, what access you are giving, how you are creating those identities, that we can manage with the help of Azure AD. So for the collaboration project, for any kind of contract, maybe the contractors, freelancers, all these people will come as an external identity to your organization. So Azure AD will give you a facility, or I can say that capability, to manage these identities. How these will be created, managed, that is, we are not going to discuss today, but I just wanted to give you an overview. Then I have told about the access management. So when we have these identities, and I have discussed and I have asked you a question, that is zero trust, just in time, and then I have given just enough access. So these are the three terminologies which I have mentioned. That how many of you are aware about these terminologies? Because these are very, very important terminologies. And if we know the concept of these terminologies, we can understand the requirement of services like PIM. We have other services also which are satisfying the concepts which we are mentioning, but PIM is majorly for managing these things. So the first point is zero trust. What it means is, as it suggests, zero trust means we are not going to trust any signal which is coming to my infrastructure. I'm not going to trust any signal which is coming and requesting any access to the application. So what I'm going to do is, if any signal is coming to my infrastructure, I'm going to first authenticate this signal. I want to authorize this signal, and then only I will allowing the access. If that signal is authenticated and if that signal is authorized to access the specific service or resource or part of the application, part of the data, then I will be allowing that. I'm also, if I need, I may not going to trust the SSO also. Maybe the applications are integrated with SSO, but then because that application is dealing with the confidential data, I'm not going to trust that authenticated signal also. So I want to go extra level also. So I want to have a defense in depth. So various layers also I may be required to manage that access. So this is what we need. And why we need this? Because there are a lot of ways through which the attackers are coming, gaining the access, the credentials are lost. So because of that, they are gaining the access to the different identity credentials. And based on that, they are getting the access also. We need to be very much sure that we are not going to trust those identities also. Now you may ask that if I have your username and password, then how I can identify and how I can say that I'm not going to trust this credential? Because the system works on the authentication where we have some kind of authentication ways. So this is a traditional authentication way where the user is providing username and password. But because we are not trusting it, we are not going to trust this single factor. We want to introduce some multiple factors. And because of that, now we see that we have a OTP, we have Microsoft Authenticator app, we have FIDO2 security keys, we have Microsoft Business, because we are not trusting only the traditional methods. There are ways to compromise this. Plus, we have various signals from which device the request is coming, from which location the access is coming, which application is asking. So all those scenarios we need to take care, because if this attacker is able to access the services which are accessible from this identity, this attacker will be able to access all the services and all the data which is associated with this access. And we need to see that what all things we are giving to this identity. So because of that, this kind of access can be reduced, this kind of access uh, can be taken care if we have such multiple level of authentication methods. Now it comes to the authorization. When we say that yes, we are 100% sure that this is a legit access, we are allowing this access to come in the infrastructure. The second question is this guy is authorized? Now, authorization we are giving based on the access. We have a lot of various ways to provide the access. We can create roles, we can assign to the identities. These identities can be part of the groups, and then we can assign the access. So we have ways to manage it. But what kind of access and up to what time we need to give access? These are the two things. So time period, I'll give you one scenario. So let's say, for example, I'm coming as an auditor to your environment. And this audit will long or last for 15 days. And for your environment, if you are giving me global admin role, which is having the entire control, and this global admin role, you are not giving only for the 15 days, but you are giving me the active global admin role. I don't need this active global admin role for more than 15 days. And in 15 days also, even I will be requiring only from 9 to 5, means only for 8 hours per day, or maybe the 5 hours per day. You have to identify what are the administrative or the roles which are having privileged access, which can be in the context of the confidential data of your organization, where a lot of things can be managed. So when we talk about these kind of roles, and roles are what? Roles are nothing but the collection or combination of different permissions which you will be giving. So for the reader role, all the reader permissions will be associated. If it is a security reader, so the permissions which are related to security things, that you have the read access to those. So these roles are created based on the organizational requirement. So what you are doing is, for these kind of administrative roles, these can be considered as a privileged roles which you are assigning. So this auditor will be privileged to get this global admin role for certain period of time. And why we are giving this global admin? If this task can be completed with the security reader role only, maybe the new role can be created where the permissions which are required to audit the infrastructure can be given. Why to give the global admin which is having a entire access, which is having a bigger access space, which is more than this person is requiring. So what I want to say with these examples is, we need to identify the roles which we need to give for just in time, only the right time for which that particular user or identity want to work on that role, and just enough access, the role which is required to complete the designation task. So we are not giving more, and we should not be giving less as well. If we are giving less, it is going to affect the productivity of the user. So what we are doing is, we are going to work on the roles where we need to assign just in time access and just enough access. So right people will get the right access and for a right duration. That is the motto of managing the security of your specific access and to your resources. So if this auditor is having a global admin role for a longer period of time than the 15 days, now consider the situation where the attacker's credentials are leaked. And we are talking about after 15 days, because no one is going to check that this global admin role is required by this auditor after 15 days or not. We are not going to check that because we are not concerned about this. We are just given the audit administrator role, and yes, task is completed. That's it. But here the question is, if the credentials are leaked, and if someone is able to get the access to this account and able to enter into our environment, if this system is also not enabled, that is multi-factor authentication, that attacker is able to access the environment. And if you have a global admin role, I hope that you all can imagine the damage for your organization. Your entire data, your entire application can be in the hand of an attacker. So the damage will be more. So what we need to understand is how we can reduce this damage, how we can reduce the time period for which this damage can happen. So we need to identify the risk which is associated with the roles. And that's the basis of this privilege identity management, where we need to manage these kind of privilege roles, who is eligible for these roles and for how long we can activate these roles. So for the organization, if you see, so if we talk about the organization, so let's say in the organization, if admin we have, so this admin role we want to assign to some user A. Now this admin role we are assigning to user A, and we want only 2 hours. Whenever this user wants to activate this role, we need to have approval from project manager. So this user needs to take the approval needs to share the justification, needs to share the ticket information that why this user is requiring to activate this admin role. And this is fixed only for 2 hours or let's say for 30 minutes. So whenever this user needs admin role, that user is activating it, and then manually we do not need to do anything. That will be automatically be deactivated after 2 hours or whatever time period you have specified. So that kind of control you have, that you can manage this access for just in time and only the enough access which you need. And this is very, very important to identify the enough access. This enough access can be identified by the roles which we are assigning. And these PIM roles, we can work with AD roles, we can work with Azure roles, and now we have a new that is PIM groups. So I'll try to show you examples from all so that you can relate with your scenarios. Any question, anyone? Okay. Okay, so I hope now you have an understanding that why we have this kind of feature available with the help of which we can manage the roles. If you have any question, we can take it, or if you want to post your questions in the chat and you want to take me later, it's completely fine for me. So till now we discussed about the requirement of such things where we can manage the access to the roles based on the duration of that designated task and based on the requirement of the access to the resources. So we are working on just enough access and just in time access. And we need to keep control of all these kind of scenarios. So I will take you to the portal. So I'm sure that everybody is working on this portal. So this is all these users which I was discussing. So I have created few users so that I can demonstrate use of PIM. So few users I have created and I will show you the PIM. We can also work it from the admin portal of Azure AD as well. So this is ad.portal.azure.com. This is admin portal of Azure Active Directory. Here we can see all the services of Active Directory. I have just make it as a featured and favorite service. So this is my PIM blade where I can work on the privilege identity management. Here I have an option to manage the access and to activate it for just in time. So if you see roles which are assigned to my account, this is my MSD and MSD Microsoft Certified Trainer account with MSD and subscription. So I have three terminologies: eligible assignment, active assignment, and expired assignment. I will explain you all three type of assignment, what it means, how we can make any role or any user eligible for a specific role. I will come to that. I just request all to mute. If you have any question, I just request you to post in the chat. Uh, okay. So this is how you can check that what role is assigned to you, what all your active roles given to you, and what are your expired assignment, that also you can see. I will take you to the AD and I just wanted to show you the roles and administrators. So these are all roles which we have. Just taking some time. Yeah. So this is a list of roles which we have. And the one thing which I like from the Microsoft is that you have the entire flexibility. You have your built-in roles, plus you have the flexibility to create your own roles also. So how you can create your roles, simply you just need to define that I am creating this for security audit. I can give some description and then I can start from the scratch. And here we can see that this is the real power which we are giving to that specific role. As a security auditor, if I want to give all the read permissions, out of these read permissions, if I want to have specific read permissions, I can create this custom role with the help of the permissions which are mentioned over here, which is required with this designated task. So I can create my custom roles and I can also work on the built-in role. This is the thing which I wanted to show you. Now here when we talk about the PIM, I'm taking the example of, let's say, the first role, which is mentioned as an application administrator. So here I will come to this point. Before that, I want to show you the role settings. So every role which is built in is coming with some settings, and we can change those settings as per the requirement of our organization, as per the requirement of delegation of that role. So here, if you see, we have settings which are related to activation, how you are going to activate and how much duration you want this role to be activated. Then we have assignments. That this particular role is having permanent assignment, it is having permanent active assignment. You want to expire it after some period of time, that you can mention in the assignment section. Then we have notification. Now here, if you are a manager, you should be knowing that your team members are activating the privileged roles for a specific task. When they are activating, when that role is deactivated, when that role is approved from your side, all kind of notifications you need, so that it will be helping you in your auditing and the management part. So that also is available. We can manage it like this: are assigned as eligible to this roles. Send notifications when members are assigned as eligible to this role, when members are assigned as active to this role, or when eligible members activate this role. So these things also we can manage with this. So these are the few settings we have. And for roles, we can edit these settings. So all the roles which you see by default are coming with 8 hours. But we have option uh, to manage hours. Like we can go minimum zero point 0.5 hour to maximum 24 hours. This is the maximum limit we can activate this PIM role if we have designed it in such a way. So zero point 0.5 is minimum and 24 is maximum. So let's say I am taking it as a zero point 0.5, because just note it that these are privileged roles. These are the roles which have scope accessing the resources which might talking to your data, which is confidential, the resources which are very, very confidential for your organization, or they have a large access to the resources. So in that case, you need to see that how much duration you want to give to a user, so that that user can perform the designated task. And after that, the access will be deactivated automatically. So here you can define the maximum duration of the hours you want to activate. Now, I talked about the zero trust architecture. So in that zero trust concept, we are not going to trust anybody. Even though you are an authenticated user, but now you are activating your PIM role. Now you are not having the active assignment of that role. That's why you are asking for the activation. So maybe I am not trusting you and I want you to go for a Azure MFA. You have to complete your MFA and then only you will be able to activate it. So that is an extra requirement for this particular role that you can design, you can figure out based on the role requirement, based on your organization work. Then if you see here also, we have certain things which we need to see, which we require. Now here we need a justification on the activation. Now that is also important when we talk about the auditing or logs. We can see that why manager has given the activation of this role to this user. We have the proper justification, so that we can ask. And also maybe some organizations are having ticket system. To request anything, they have to raise the ticket, and you want to keep that ticket information in the approval system also. That also you can enable, but this is not required. And again, you need approval to activate this role. So here, if you want approval to activate, we can select the approval from that list, and we can assign this approval for a specific approval. So I will also show you that how we can approve the roles and how we can check the request, how we can extend it. And also this is important to know that if we have no specific approver, then privilege role administrator or yes, global admin will become a default approver. So I'm not selecting this for this specific role. Just wanted to show you these things. I hope that these settings are clear to you. Here we can select the duration, for which means just in time, only for 5 or 30 minutes, this role will be activated. And then on activation, we need to have Azure MFA. We need a justification on activation. Now I'm going next. So here again, the point of discussion is coming that we need to allow a permanent eligible assignment. Means this user is permanently eligible for this particular role assignment. Or if you want to have expiry let after 15 days, this eligible assignment will be revoked. What is the meaning of eligible assignment is that you are eligible to activate the role. You are eligible to activate the specific role which we are discussing for 15 days. Now in this 15 days, you have to activate the role if you want to use it. You can activate it after the duration complete, the role will be automatically deactivated. If you are eligible, you can again activate your role. So you have to understand that eligible assignment, it doesn't mean that your role is activated. It means that you are eligible for activating the assignment. Now, again, one option is that we are allowing the permanent active assignment means we are allowing that user to have a active direct assignment so that we can tick over here or we can expire it after 15 days. This active assignment will be expired. So we can select the option based on the requirement of the roles. We can't say that blanket thing will work for all the roles. It's depend on the requirement. And then again, we can go for a MFA for an active assignment, and also we can have a justification on a active assignment. So we can again add on these points, whatever requirement we have, based on that we can activate these things. And then the notification which I discussed with you, we can add on those email addresses. If we have any additional things, we can add on those email addresses as well. And then we can update this role. So the moment you update this role, all the changes which you have made will be updated in this built-in role. And then you can assign this role. Now, for assigning any role, what we are going to do is, if you see here, we have add assignment where we can add these assignment. And then we can see the eligible users. So this is the eligible user I have. This user can activate this particular role. If this user is activating the role, this user will come in the active assignment. If this particular assignment will expire, this will come in the expired assignment. So right now I don't have any expired assignment. I have only active and eligible. So I will show you that. And for this part, we will come back to this. This is PIM group. So I will show you this also. I will take you to the, so this is my PIM dashboard, which I have. You can see that what I can manage with PIM is, I can manage with PIM Azure AD roles, which I've just shared with you. I can also manage the privileged access groups. I will show you the benefit of this. This is in the preview, but it is very, very useful. And then we have Azure resource roles. We all know that we have roles which are associated with a specific resources like owner, contributor, reader. These are the roles which can also come under PIM, and in which also we have a hierarchy like management group, subscription, and also we have resource group, then we have resources. So we can go and we can also discover the resources, and based on that also we can assign the roles and permissions to these users. So first I will be just taking the Azure AD roles as we discussed. Okay, so first I told you as I can check my roles. So I have user administrator, that is a active permanent active assignment, and I have global admin, that is a permanent active, because I have logged in with global admin account only. And I don't have anything for expire. Okay. Now I want to manage these active AD roles. I am here in the Azure AD roles for managing the PIM access. So here, if you see this application administrator, we just have modified it. I will just go to the role settings. We have modified it for 30 minutes. So now if I'm giving this role to any user, the user will be only able to active this for 30 minutes, plus this user will be eligible only for 15 days. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the assignment and I'm going to select the role. So let's say I'm selecting this role only, application administrator. And here we have a scope also. So if you have organizational unit and that role is coming under organizational unit, sorry, administrative units, then you can also have a scope of that. I'm sure that you all are aware about the administrative units, AUs, which we call them, which is having some admin permissions, admin roles, which we can assign to those units. So scope is like this is scope for directory type, or you have a scope related to application. So it's depend again on the roles on which you are working. So here I'm selecting a member. So I'm selecting a member, any member, let's say this first member I'm selecting, and I'm going to assign this to this member. Here I can see that this is a eligible assignment or this is a active assignment. So here assignment type I'm selecting. So eligible means my user is eligible for given period of time. Just give me a minute. I'll just switch on the light. Okay. So here we have assignment type as eligible means we are making this assignment as an eligible assignment. The user is eligible for this particular role, but that user has to activate that role whenever that user want to use that role. Here we can see the maximum allowed eligible duration is 15 days. Out of that, if I want to only make this user eligible for 2 days or 5 days, I can give that, but the maximum period is 15 days. Now it depends upon the case studies of your organization that this role is only applicable for 5 days. You can select 5 days from here. You can assign it. So I can also go to this role and I can see that who all have eligible assignment of this role. So I have this user who is having eligible assignment of this role. Here, if you see, I have this extend also. So extend will be enabled before 14 days. Let's say if it is going to expire on 15. So from the first, this extend will be enabled and you have option to extend this also with request. So this is a simple way of doing this. Now, if I want to activate it, I can activate it also, but I have not assigned it. So these are the options which we can do for the eligible assignment. These are the users who are eligible for application administrator role. Now let's say I will take this only so that I will modify one role. If I'm making it permanent active assignment, so that user will be permanently having the active role of that. That is now not eligible. That is now going to be active. So these things we can manage from this particular role permissions. And here we can manage it. And let's say if we want to add some approver to this, so I can add the approver to this, and then we can see that how these things will be approved. So I'm adding this user. It will take a couple of seconds. Okay, we have assigned it also, I guess. Let me check it once again. It's not coming. Why? I just see that why it is not coming. So here, if you see, I have just asked for assigning the active roles to this user. So I have given this role to this user and I have given the active assignment. So if it is an active assignment, it is coming over here. And if it is eligible, it is coming over here, from where we can give the permissions to activate that account. Okay, so I have created those roles also, which I will show you. I will open this users PIM as well, this users access also. You will not be able to see the other browser which I have opened. So once I will open it, I will take you here. Whatever the password. Yeah. Okay. What I will do is I will share my entire screen so that I will not be jumping between these screens. Okay. So this is the account which I have created of one user. And I can see what roles assigned to me. So I'm eligible for these many roles. I'm talking about user one. So this is the users portal, and this I have and this I have is the global admin portal. So here, if you see, this user is having assigned roles as these many roles. So this user is having how many active assignments? Two active assignments and two eligible and these many eligible assignments. Now from users portal, user can activate those roles. These are the admin things, global admin account. So I can't activate this, but from the user account, I can activate it. So here, if I want to activate application administrator role, I can say that I want to activate this role. I hope that my screen is visible to you because I was moving between the screens. So I've shared my entire screen. If you feel any difficulty, please let me know. So here till now, we discussed that how we can work on PIM, how we can assign the PIM roles. Now we'll be seeing that how the user will be able to activate it. That user is eligible for a certain period of time to work on that role. But before start working on that role, the user has to activate that role. So for activation of the role, I just have to click on the activation and here I can give a information. So here I have an option to give custom activation also. Let's say, you know that the audit will start after 10 days. So in your case, why you are going to activate it today? You should be activating it after 10 days or 15 days. So that kind of custom activation start date also you can mention over here. And it is requiring a justification. So if I'm not giving this justification, it is not going to allow me to activate because in my settings, I have asked a reason for this activation. So I can say for demo, I can mention this. So maximum duration I can specify is 30 minutes. If I have 8 hours, maximum duration, out of maximum 8 hours, maybe I can go for 4 hours, maybe I can go for 2 hours. So here I have this 0.5, so I can't go lower than this. So I can't select anything else. And I want to activate it. I don't remember that we have added any approver for this. These are my roles. Let me see once again that if this application administrator is requiring any approval. Yeah, it is requiring approval for activation. So if it is requiring approval and I have that right to approve, I can go to PIM and I can see the requests which are coming. So right now there is no request from my side. So what I can check is if there is any request for the approving of the role. So if that is coming over here, it will come over here. Request for role activation. I think when we have assigned that, there were no. So I just have to change it for AD user 2. This is for AD user 1. I will go to these roles. I will just sign in with other because we have changed it after assigning to this user. So I will just sign it with this user 2. So I've created users for this demo. It will ask me to change the password also. And that screen because I have enabled MFA also for these accounts. I will go to PIM maybe later. I can go to my role. This is my another user. So this user is having this role access which we have given and we want to activate it. We need to give a valid reason. So I'm giving a demo reason, demo, and I want to activate it. This is already exist. Okay, we have already given this as an active assignment. Okay. Okay, so I will assign another role to this user and then we will see. So these are the ways through which we can manage the access which we are giving to the users. So let's say if I'll go to the PIM once again, here, if I've enabled it, then only it will come. So I will go to some other role and I will change that setting and then we will come again. I will just go to role settings and I will see if I have any approval for this. I don't have any. I will just change it. I need approval to activate it and I will add my global admin account. Okay, and I can update it. So I've not allowed the permanent activation. I've just made this user eligible and this is the changes in the settings. Now I will go to this role and I will add user 2. This user is eligible. Allowed duration is this. Okay. This is my AD user. I can see my roles. So now I have application administrator. I'm going to activate this role. So you can see here, I have a 8 hours ka duration, which I haven't changed. So I can change the duration also that I want to activate this only for the 3.5 hours. And then you can see that your request is pending for approval because we have made that setting in that role that you have to do that approval process. So here I will go to the privilege identity management, and here you see that the my request is my request which I am doing, and the approving the request panel is coming. So here, if we have that setting for that role, that if any user is requesting for the approval, that will be coming to this particular space. So here you have an option to see that how many role activation requests you have, and based on the permissions, we can activate or approve this. And while approving, you can see the entire details. What is the reason this user is giving? What is the ticket number, ticket system? Everything you can see from here. And you can approve it. Again, you can give the justification that why you are giving this approval for this specific role. So I hope that till now the entire process is clear, that this is how we can change the settings for the PIM roles, how we can assign the roles to the user, what kind of settings on which we can work for assigning the roles. And for Azure resources, roles also like the similar processes follow. So I'm not going in that detail. So let me see that how much time we have. Then I just take 10 more minutes from you all. And I want to discuss about this as well, which is about the privilege access group. So I hope that till now Azure AD roles, how to assign, how to work on that, that is clear. But you can keep your questions with you. We will discuss it. So here we have privileged access groups. So sometimes when we see that we have users with which we are assigning the access. So let's say you have 1000 users and you want to assign certain roles to these users. And out of these 1000 users, it's not easy for you to work on the individual users to assign. So because of that, we have options to create groups. And these groups, we can create these groups with manually assigning the users, or we have an option to work on a dynamic rules based on which the users will be added. So we have assigned membership, and we have dynamic membership also, where we can create rules, and based on those rules, users will be added. So in these groups, now we have a option, or I can say that capability to create security groups, which are assigned groups, means manually we are adding users to those groups, and we can assign PIM roles to these groups also. We have to enable that PIM access, and we have to enable the Azure AD role access to the user. So I will show you by creating one group, and then we will see that how these all things works. The simple way, the way we are creating the groups, I'm creating this group. It's nothing different. This is a security group, and I'm giving the group name, Pune Tech. I can give a description, and here the important thing which we need to notice that we need to make it yes, because Azure AD roles can be assigned to this group. So switch this setting to yes to use this group to assign roles. So I can make it yes, and now I can assign my PIM roles also. And the moment you make it yes, if it is no, you can see that you have option to add the user dynamically also. But if you are making it yes, you have only assigned membership allowed for this privileged groups. I can have owners, I can have members, I can have roles. All these things I can add later on also. So I'm just creating this group. I'm not adding the members or roles right now. I've created this. I'll just minimize my screen once again. It is asking me that AD roles. Yes, I want to assign these roles. Successfully created groups. Some 2 seconds it will take more. Yeah, it's coming now. Pune Tech group. So here I have a Pune Tech group. If you see, these are the settings which we can't change now. I can see the entire information. I hope that you all people are aware about the groups and the other settings. If we go to the, I think, properties. So here also we have all these options which we can work on. These are the roles and things which we can allow. Here we have this activity that is privileged access. So here we need to enable this privilege access for this group. If this is enabled, it means the members or owners will be having the PIM roles assigned to it. When you will add the members, the role which you have assigned to that group, that will be added to that group's access also. When that user is leaving that group, automatically that activation will be removed from that group. So that you can manage by enabling the privileged access. Once it is enabled, you have action to view your privileged groups. So here you can view the privileged groups. Now we have two privileged groups. One group which is having 4 members and 1 owner. I can assign roles to this group. This group, I don't have any member or owner. So if we see this PIM group, which I have created earlier for this demo, I have only this active assignment. I have to manage the roles which I have for the members. So for these members, I have some active assignments. I have some eligible assignments. So I can manage the permissions and the roles which are assigned to the members of the group with the help of this specific group itself. Whatever roles are assigned, I can check and I can work on that. And whatever roles I'm assigning to this group, that will be delegated to the users of that group. So these things we can manage from this. I can show you that how we can assign these roles. Again, I'm coming to the AD roles. Here I can go to assignment and I have just added. So here we can see the list of the members, but I have a list of the groups also. So now AD roles I can assign to my groups also. So I can assign it to Pune Tech group, which I have created. So this I have given. Okay, because I don't have any member in this. I have to select at least one member. So I will add first user in this group, then I will come back to this, and then we will have a discussion on the questions if you have. Okay, I will make it here only. I will add the users over here. So I don't have any member over here. I can add members to this group. So I will add this user only because this user's account is opened already with me. So I have created member, AD user as a member. So now this user is part of this group. I will go to this role again. So scenario is that you have to assign roles to a specific set of users. So instead of individually going to that user, you can create a group of those users and you can assign these roles. This is already assigned to this user. I will go to some other role which is not assigned. I'm selecting, let's say this role. I'm selecting a group. Permanent eligible I'm giving. Okay. So this is assigned to Pune Tech group. Take some time in the reflecting. So we have this member, and if we go to this member, and if we see the assigned roles, we can see the role which we have assigned just now to that group. So that membership is coming from the group only. So here we can see that this role is directly assigned to this user, or this user is coming from a group membership. So when this user is not part of that group, that role will be automatically revoked from that user. So this is how we can manage PIM roles for Azure AD, Azure resources, and with the help of groups as well. So there are a lot of case scenarios which I've shared with you where you need to give a privileged access to the users. And also I've told you about the scope as well. So here we have a concept of administrative units where we have certain roles which are coming under this. So again, we can have a specific uh, limit of the scope as well. So you want to give the scope for AU only, so that also you can select. And then that you can select which AU. So which user from this AU, that also I can select. So there are a lot of options to manage access, the privilege access which you are giving to the user. Yeah. So I think these are the things which I wanted to discuss with you. If you have any questions related to that, how does external user assignment, I can see one question, similar way which we have assigned to the users. So I have internal and external assignment will work in a similar way, but I just want to recommend that if you have external user and internal user, you are assigning it, you should be working on the access reviews also, so that the user, those who are external, or the user, those who are internal, they will be reviewed with their access. They need this access or not. So that access review needs to be designed for these PIM roles as well. This user AAD1 also can assign to other users. How? No, I'm not understanding your question, Shrikant. The question is, this user AAD1 also can assign to other users. I'm not understanding this question. If you can just write this question again. Where did you select admin unit? I missed it. Naveen, if you can just ask this question again. I just forgot where you have selected the admin unit, on which part I was working actually. Yeah, license you need. Yes, yes, yes. P2 license you require if you want to work on a PIM. That is important. I missed that. Thank you so much, Syed, for mentioning this. Does it integrate with Power Automate for reminders and approvals, etc.? I haven't worked on it, Naveen, actually, that how we can add with Power Automate for reminders for approvals. I haven't worked on this actually. So I'm not able to comment on this. If you can integrate these things with Power Automate, I think this is going to be good. But
Abhilasha, just a few things like what I understood and kind of summaries. Uh, so if you wanted to grant a PIM access, so basically as a Azure admin who's managing the team, so that person first have to create the PIM role. Then that role there we will be assigned what kind of permission in the applications on the all kind of permission time on those things. Then there you have to mention the how much time that role the permission will be validated, how many days that will be validated. Those have to everything have to set into that role. Then that role has to be assigned to the respective AD users, or the like the new term like the PIM group. That role has to be available. So as soon as that has been configured, as an end user, if I log into the system, if that role is available for me, it is for us assigned for me, then I will be available. Then I will be hit on the activate button. Then I will get the customization things for the time, and the time frame, like the sorry the dates as per the configured in the role. Then those will be set. Again, I'm forgot to mention in the role configuration, I have to assign who will be approver that specific role. So at the end user will be register the request, it will be redirect to the approval get approved those things, and as per the customized time the role will be activated or available. So this is the whole process, correct?
correct, correct, Krishna.
Yes, very thank you, ma'am. You really very well explained. I understood those things.
Thank you so much, Krishna. And one point I want to add in this entire summary, Krishna, is the PIM role are like the roles which are having some admin permission. So we can say that the contributor role, administrative role, user access administrative role, these are coming under the PIM category where we have certain admin access given to that role. And we can have our custom design role as well. So we can work on those specific to the organization in which we are working.
And the whole procedure we need a P2 license, like particularly.
Yeah, we need this license. Yes, yes. I have this license enabled. Yeah. Okay. And
and
this
and in
question,
and
yeah.
and in your context, like suppose auditor are coming, so suppose
Mm,
we are
mm.
reputed company, might be they are affiliated, available in this, and we rather than creating their ID in our organization, is it feasible to create their ID? Suppose we are working in the TCS, and the KPMG guy is coming for the audit perspective,
Mm,
and
mm.
we wanted to grant a permission to their KPMG first name, that last name at kpmg.com, so their ID. So is it feasible to grant a permission to them, or we have to create a generic ID here?
No, we can invite them with their ID. I'll show you how.
Okay.
That option we have. Yes. I'll just share my screen once again. Before taking your question, I just take that Shrikant question also. Shrikant was asking that will user AD user can also assign PIM roles to others. Yes, a user can assign if that user is having that access or permission to assign roles to the other user. If it is having that access or that role assigned, then only that user will be able to access. Okay, so you were talking about the external users. So here we have users. I can invite the user. I'll show you that few things I have added over here. If you see, so I have invited these users. So I'm working with Cloud.that. So I have invited my Cloud.that ID also over here. I just wanted to show you that this. So I've invited my Cloud.that account also to come and work over here. So no need to create my identity. What I can do is if you can just give your mail ID to me. I will invite you, maybe Gmail or any ID if you want to use official email ID if you want to share. You can share. I will invite you to my environment as a guest user, and then I can control all kind of access which I'm giving to you. So here I can invite the users to collaborate with the organization from the other organization, and then I can have creation of the identity, like I can give the name of the other person, like I can give your name, and I can give the email address if you're providing in the chat. I can copy it and you will get an invitation from my side. Once you will accept it, you will coming in my environment. You can log in with your credentials and then I can assign you the roles and the permission for a specific period of time. And then you can utilize those services. And definitely, I just recommend that access reviews are very, very important. Whenever you have internal or external users having admin roles or having privileged roles. Yeah, okay, you have given your ID. Just copy it,
How the
share my
license will
screen.
work in that scenario?
How the
License, suppose if you grant me that this is a public ID, like the outlook.com, so how the
hmm,
license will work here?
that works on a monthly active user thing. Some guest
Okay,
users, the
okay,
licensing will work, yeah, MAU basis.
okay, so there is another
Yeah,
mechanism, yeah.
yes, there is another. So I can also have some groups on which I can make a part of this user. So let's say I'm making you part of Pune Tech, where we have assigned one role also. So
Okay.
parallelly, you can also show your Outlook also by sharing your screen. And you can see that once you accept the invitation from my side, you will be having membership of this group, plus that role is also assigned. So, okay, I'm not going anything. Manager also, I'm not assigning. You will be receiving an invitation on your Outlook, and then you can good to start once you accept it. Inviting the user. Yeah, successfully invited. Maybe in couple of seconds, you will get that invitation. And I can also see that user. I can see Krishna over here. I have invited this user. It is coming as a guest user.
Yes, I received something. Yes.
I received, so I have invited it, but now this user is accepting, then also the status will change.
Okay. Yes, I received the email. I'm just going to
Huh.
accept it.
Yes, yes. And then you can also show your Azure portal and
Yes.
things which are there. Yeah. So here we have assigned roles.
There some kind of consent is received.
So you are, see, you are already eligible for this because you are part of a group.
Okay.
You will be having my access. You have to open my access dot link.
Yes, I have activated. Means I just
Yes, yes, yes.
accepted that one.
Yes. So you are eligible for this role. You can activate it also. If you will go to your PIM, then I think you can activate it. So this is
Yes.
how you can work with the external users. There are a lot of other things also which we can work on the external things, but I think that we will discuss later on. Others will feel that already I've taken a lot of your time. So this access review, which I was telling now, that is very important when we talk about PIM things. I'll just quickly show you that where you can find this. So if you see in the identity governance, because we need to understand that what we want to retain and what we want to delete. So here in the entitlement management, we can see the access reviews which we need to create. Like I'll give you one example. We all are part of lot of WhatsApp groups, but we are active on only few. So if I'll give you a list that, hey, Krishna, you are part of 50 groups, but you are active only on the 7 from last 30 days. Do you want to continue with remaining 43? You just simply say yes, 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 or no, 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 and then that will be taken care. So you are again reducing the attack surface by managing this access, by reviewing this access. So that is the whole idea of PIM and the access review. So for the PIM roles, you can design your access reviews. You can have reviewer for those access. You can have self review also. So for again, you need to have license for designing these reviews.
Okay.
Yeah, you can Sharu Datta, we have one question from you. Is this user can become, yeah, if global admin role is assigned to that user can become global admin. So from my account, I can give Krishna as a global admin role also. I'm not giving it right now, but I can give so that Krishna can work on my environment as a global admin. If you have that rights, you can do that. You need to be user access administrators to assign roles, privilege access administrators. So certain roles are there which have some permissions associated. Any question, anyone?
I'm just trying to raise a request for the PIM.
Okay. Okay, so send me the approval. I will approve it for you.
Where shall I go? Azure AD role, correct?
Yeah, this is
I,
Azure AD role.
I'm in the privilege identity management, and there my request.
Hmm. No, you have to go to your role,
Okay.
my roles, and there you will see eligible assignment, and then you have the activate option over there if you are given that permission for activation.
Active assignment. No eligible
Like this.
assignment. I am not
No,
able to see.
no, in the eligible, okay, I'll show you how you can go there. So this is my AD user too, like you. So I am here in the PIM. You reach this page, PIM?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So in this, you can go to my roles.
Yes, I'm there.
Okay, you will find your role over here in the eligible assignments.
Shall I share my screen?
Yes, please, you can.
Uh, I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, yes, yes. Just check the
Okay.
active assignment. I think, okay, nothing is coming to you.
Might be take time.
It's not taking
I
this
think
much of
he
time. Just
doesn't have.
refresh it.
I think he doesn't have
Refresh it.
P2 license.
P2 license. Okay.
Yeah, so you can enable the trial version. Now you can go to Azure AD again, Azure Active Directory.
Okay. Yes.
Go to licenses. In the manage section, you have licenses. Just scroll. Yeah, this one. Scroll down. Yeah. After application proxy, you will find licenses. Just, yeah, here. Yeah. Here we have get a free trial. Yeah, I can activate that P2 license from here. Free trial. Yes. This will be activated for 30 days.
Failed
You
to
have
activate the
already
order. Okay,
activated this
I
trial
was
before.
already
Okay.
I was already used. No problem. Got it, ma'am. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay.
So we are pretty much
Thank
there.
you. Okay. Any question, anyone? Okay, then Smita,
So one
if
quick
neither
question:
of
is it difference between PIM and PAM? So we have some different tools available, and it's called as PAM, Privilege Access Management, like beyond trust or something like that.
that is a privilege administrator management, I think, or this because when we are creating those desktop now, I think we are giving those privilege access only to those machines. I haven't worked on that.
Okay.
Mhm. This is specific to role and that is specific to access.
Abhilasha, if E5 license is there, then I think P2 is by default it is there, no? For E5 licenses.
We have to check that what all thing. Yeah,
E3
I
and
think
E5.
E5.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. If you want to see that license page, I can share that link also with you. And they are adding and updating the things also. A lot of things are there. Microsoft is updating, like AWS is also updating a lot. Okay, Smita,
Yeah,
over to you now.
M365map.com is a very useful site to understand the licenses.
Can you just share in the chat
I shared in
M365?
the chat.
Okay, okay. Perfect, perfect.
HTTPS M365map.com. Excellent site.
Oh,
So because I am from university,
yeah.
we are having A1, A3 and A5 licenses.
Okay.
Similarly, E1, E3 and E5 licenses are there. So here you can see they explain very nicely.
Yes, I will share my screen so that others can also see this. Yeah.
So you can click upon any M365 E1, E3, E5 licenses. So you can directly go to that.
Yes.
So
Okay.
here they explained with the tiles.
Yeah.
Even you can download,
Very nice.
save PDF, everything, PNG. So in PowerPoint presentation also you can use.
Thank you so much for sharing it. Thank you.
Nicely explained, Abhilasha.
Thank you so much.
I joined very late, but I understood.
Thank you. And I also really like the interactive session, the way you guys have asked questions and participated in this session. Thank you so much. Over to you, Smita, now.
Yeah, thank you.